Dr. Murray, you have written this absolutely dynamite book called What the Big Companies Won't Tell You and Your Doctor Doesn't Know. What prompted you to write this book?
Well, we've all been misled down a path of ill health by the greed and marketing of the drug companies. And what I wanted to do in this book was not only bring that issue up, but also provide clear direction so that people can utilize natural ways to promote health and healing without relying so heavily on these drugs.
And under those circumstances, where do you start with something like this? And how do you do it in a way that people will begin to understand that really there is another path?
Well, I think just looking at the statistics, as a nation, each year we consume over 40% of all the prescription and over-the-counter drugs made in the world, yet we rank 42nd in terms of life expectancy, and our health quality is far below that of many other developed countries. We also are overprescribed in incredible ways. The average person over the age of 55 is on 8 or more drugs at any single point in time. The average person over the age of 55 receives 34 prescriptions for drugs each year. That's just way too much.
Wow. Let me ask you, do we know what the interactions are between those drugs?
No, and that may be the reason why adverse drug reactions are the fourth leading cause of all death in America. It's estimated over 100,000 people die each year from taking medication as they were prescribed and losing their life. And we don't know the true side effect number with prescription and over-the-counter drugs because it's the drug company's responsibility to share that information with the FDA. And we know, based upon looking at hospital records, that it's woefully deficient. For example, there's one popular heart medication where the FDA receives 80 reports of adverse side effects, serious adverse side effects each year. So you wouldn't think it was a big deal. But if you look at Medicare records, it's responsible for over 30,000 hospital admissions. And I think that's what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. I think most Americans either have had a side effect themselves or have known someone, family member, friend, who's had a serious health problem as a result of taking the drug, not overdosing it, but as it was prescribed.
So do you recommend that people, A, consult with probably another practitioner as well when they have these things that people are talking to them about, B, that they learn how to change their lifestyles, and C, that what they do is to put themselves in a position to be able to understand the problems that could arise from the drugs that they're taking?
Yeah, I encourage people to take personal responsibility for their health, for their emotions, for their lives, for their thoughts. Those are things that they can control. You know, it's great to get a second opinion, but most often people are getting the same opinion just a second time. If we look at the way medicine is practiced in this country, medical doctors follow what are called clinical practice guidelines. These are kind of the blueprints for what is considered good medicine. 87% of the authors of these clinical practice guidelines rely almost exclusively on the drug companies for their financial existence. So what's put in these clinical practice guidelines is the use of drugs, and in many cases we're trying to treat with drugs conditions that owe their origin largely to diet, lifestyle, and our attitude. And failing to address those core issues is what I'm pointing out in this book. If you can't take a pill to counteract what you do wrong with your diet, your lifestyle, and your attitude. So we have to really start focusing on those sort of things and utilizing natural approaches for health and healing.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I really enjoy the opportunity.